You know what? Have I not been live this whole time? Can somebody kick in? I'm sorry, everybody. I thought I hit the go live button. So I have been sitting here talking for a half hour and not been live. Oh, Lord. Oh. Okay, if you're just joining or if you've been here a half hour with me, first of all, thanks for hanging in there. This is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. But I'll fess up. I'll take the heat. First of all, I've gotten really hot and I'm flushed right now. Let me get the fan on. Okay, so if you've been with me or if you're just joining, here's what's happened. I've been sitting here. Okay, so there's this evolution where I have to start the live stream in OBS Studio, and then it takes a minute, and then I click the go live button in YouTube. And you know what I didn't do? Is I did not click the go live button in YouTube, and I just started talking, and I started answering everybody's questions in the chat. So, yeah. Sorry. Okay, I've done so much talking in a half hour, and I just, early on, Brandon pointed out that he could not see the video, and I thought, well, what was going on? And I looked at everything. I didn't think to look at the go live button, and I happened to look over, and I did not have. I've got this graph that goes on that shows me how many people are watching and such, and I didn't see that, and I'm like, I'm not even live. This is amazingly embarrassing, and I am sorry. Yes, I was answering everybody's questions. Yeah, Brandon, in fact, I will stay an extra half hour because of my mistake, and I'm sorry about that. I do appreciate everybody stopping by. I guess this is a do-over. I'm so embarrassed now. Thanks for dropping by. As always, this is the 7th episode of the Atlas Earth podcast I host on a Sunday afternoon. I'm sorry for the mistake. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. Cerezy's in the house, and I'm sorry for all this chat. I'll scroll back and I'll try to look at the chat, but basically I've been answering everybody's questions over time. Let me go ahead and scroll back and we can talk about it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, now my brain is fried. So anyway, the first 30 minutes was answering everybody's questions and basically going into detail that, hey, this week, Tuesday, is going to be my first year playing in the game, and I'm going to do a wrap-up of what I've seen after playing and kind of a review of my play and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. Please leave a like and subscribe. Even if this is really humiliating here. Cerezy's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to pick up where chat is now. If you want to go ahead and leave your previous chat again, if you want to talk about something, a topic we were talking about previously. Yeah, I had a bunch of good stuff I had said too. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, I mean, if you've been watching my videos, one thing is I'm far from perfect. We all are, right? And I'm not one of those guys who gets on a video and says, "Oh, I'm perfect," and edits out all my mistakes. You see all mistakes all the time. But what I try to do is I try to remove and not perpetuate any false information on purpose. That's why I took down a video this past week and redid it, because the math I did with the Atlas Earth calculator, something errored out in the calculator and it gave me false math. So I'm not blaming it. I should have saw it before I put it into a video. That was an interesting video. If you want to go check it out, it's from a few days ago. The topic was, would it be a good a good approach to stay at the top of your first tier in Atlas Earth and just upgrade all your parcels to legendary instead of standard progression? So anyway, it was interesting. Annalise says, hey, it's Sherry. Absolutely. First 30 minutes was a mulligan. Yeah, I'll stay over. We'll do an extra 30 minutes. That's about all. That's about all I can say. And I'm all of a sudden I'm just sweating profusely. Okay, let's get back to Atlas Earth discussion. Palmer Husky says, happens to the best of us. I used to stream too, and one day I started and didn't realize that I had no sound going out to the viewers. Someone pinged me on Telegram to let me know. My capture card had stopped working because the updates on it made it so that I wouldn't work. Yeah. TJ Net is here. And first of all, I want to go back and I want to say, I'm going to scroll back and say welcome to everyone. Lady Sharon, hey, it's Sherry, which I love that, because it's like somebody just walked in. Sherry just walked into the room and we're like, hey, it's Sherry, like cheers. Robert Mills is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Brandtastic is here, as always, and pointed out my foible early on, but I did not pick up soon enough. So thank you, Brandon. Sorry about that. Honest John's here, and Honest John, I was talking about the issues with the mini games and completing the ladder. I would say, I think one of the things I like about the challenge ladder is there's many different ways to complete it, right? There's not just one straight ahead way. But I will say that if you are trying to approach it from the most free to play way possible, in other words, not doing amp missions and stuff, you would have to do the mini games. So I'll add that back in there. And yeah, I agree with everybody. I'm trying to scroll back through and look at the topics that I've kind of taken a step back from the ladder and said, I'm not worried about it completing it so fast, but I am worried about getting through the buy parcel challenges as quickly as possible so that I can get to that next step in parcel buying for the month. Because we talk about this whole idea of tier jumping, and the whole idea is that when you go over the tier, you start losing money compared to where you were. And let me go ahead and just kind of use myself as an example. This month, okay, so this month. Let's see. Let me find myself. I started out at 875. So I was at the top of the 5X tier, right? And I went into doing the monthly challenge, and I broke tier, and I immediately started losing money, right? So I wanted to get up as high as possible. I ended up, if you saw one of my last videos, I ended up getting to the 1,000 parcel mark. So I'm making slightly more than I did at the top of the 5X tier. I have 100 left in this tier before I'm at the top of the 4X tier, which I have left for next month. Unless something changes and I decide to buy some parcels right before the next SRB, which would help me out in that SRB. but I look forward to next month to making it to the top of the 4X tier, and then kind of devising my schedule for how I'm going to approach that 3X tier. Because another topic is that as you go up in tiers, the tiers get larger and they get harder to bite off in one chunk as far as doing a full tier jump. My next tier, just to give you an example, will be from 1101 to 500. So one parcel shy of 400 parcels. So 399 parcels. That's a huge amount of parcels. And like I said a little while ago, I'd be happy if I'd be happy with like 100 parcels a month. I consider that really good progress. And depending upon how you play, that might be great for you, or you could not see that because it'd be too much, or you might be on the top end and you're like 100, man, I do that when I'm asleep, you know? So that's what my approach is. So, and I will be doing the video next Tuesday, or in a couple days. Okay, let's get my phone back over here. And this is just for reference because I'm almost at $290. I should be at $290 made for the year. Okay, let's jump back to see what people are saying now. I just wanted to give everybody a shout out for joining. Lady Sharon's here. Welcome to Okay, I think I'm back up to where we were before the massive mistake. Oh, a bunch of movie talk here. Honest John says, side question, anyone went to the Minecraft movie? I have not. I heard it was terrible, but some of these movies you never know. Sometimes they pan them and then you end up going and you end up liking it. So some discussion about people having problems with worship. I think worship is the most universally, I don't want to say disliked, but I think people have the most problem with worship. I don't like worship. Worship, after the first 2 rounds, if I'm doing really good, I can get the first 2 sets of, 5 regular shots and then the super shot, whatever they talk about it, and then another set. And after that, it's just like nothing. I can't get anything, right? Even though I keep trying, maybe once in a while I'll get a single shot off, but so usually playing worship, after those first 2 sets of shots, I know who's won. So whoever I'm playing, if they got a better bar than me, then I'm like, they got it, because I know not only me are probably not able to hit the shots, but probably they aren't either. And I know it's got a pattern. There's some people that have this pattern memorized and know what they're doing, and I can see the pattern going on. It's just trying to hit that button in time. Even if I tap on that alley or that line, as soon as I see it, when it's going fast, I can't hit it. Palmer Husky says, avoiding that movie like the plague after seeing the behavior of the people in attendance. Love Jack Black, but I'll wait to hit the streaming service. Yeah, it's been a while since I went out and saw a movie out in the theater. I'd still love it. In fact, there's some great deals. Some of the movie theaters have these pay $20 or $30 and all you can watch movies, Just trying to, I'm skipping over the kind of movie talk. Lady Sharon says, I've been waiting to post my 3-post adventure. You got to stay on longer now. Yeah, I'll stay on longer. It's a big mistake. Yeah. I've done that a couple times when I was doing videos, and there's not a live button when you're recording videos, but there's a couple other buttons, the start recording button. And if you get out of sync and you're pressing stop recording when you should be pressing start recording, whatever, you can do a whole half-hour video or whatever you're doing, 20-minute video, and then you're out of sync and have to redo everything. Same kind of thing. Honest John says, I should be very ashamed. Well, you know, it is what it is. Brandon says, I tier jumped from 290 parcels to 365 parcels, and now I'm making 1 penny less than I did before I tier jumped. Now I have another 7,000 Atlas bucks to get to 430. Yeah, just keep moving forward. I think that's my general advice for most people. Just figure out what plan works best for you, because everybody is going to make a different amount of movement in the month depending upon how much Atlas bucks you are. And just try to be aware of where that ceiling is for your current tier, and just have a plan, so basically so that you don't step over the tier accidentally. If you do it, make sure that whenever you exceed your tier, you're doing it on purpose. That's what I'm saying. But all progress is good, I think, as long as you have a plan. Hey, Lee's here. Welcome. Says they have a question. Video game collectors here. Welcome. Just came in. Well, you know, at this point, we're going over a half hour because I forgot to turn on the stream button at the proper time. Yeah, Annalise says, yeah, we really just got started. Robert says, so with Atlas Arcade, why have the rewards been so low? A lot of the games not worth it. Yeah, I hear that, and it fluctuates. It's all about marketing, Robert. These games, these third-party games, pay the service to advertise their game, basically. And the amounts we are paid to play the game depends upon several different variables. Among those variables are whether you're playing on iOS or Android, what country you're playing from, and a number of different variables I don't even know about, okay? So you basically you could be playing a game and I could download the same game and we're both going to be paid differently. So I have seen over time, most of the game's payouts have been relatively low for me. Once in a while, I come upon another one that has good payout. And I just kind of post that up to, well, maybe the company paid more for advertisement or whatever. I have been working on. I'm looking through my Atlas Arcade now. This is a game I've been playing this week called Castle Duels, mostly because I don't look at the game. I mean, I look at the games and see how much they're going to pay out, but I mostly try to find a game that I can stand playing. Because there's some of these games that, like merge games, I am so over merge games. But with that said, my point here is that this is a relatively fun game for me to play. And, you know, the idea of what constitutes a fun game is different for everybody, right? But this has been pretty fun, and I've been going through this, and I'm on iOS, right? And the first several levels are just 2, 3, 4, 4, and you have to get up to like level 12, which constitutes a lot of time invested just to start getting decent payouts, you know? And these payouts are relatively low to some of my other games. You know, there's still the variable of some of the games have timings involved, and some of them do not. In other words, some of them you only have like 2 or 3 months to go. I'm trying to find a good example here. So there are a lot of variables. It all comes down to marketing, though. So, and I'm sure, I don't know. I'm just using logic, right? I'm trying to find one with a relatively large payout. So this game, I pretty much just stopped playing it because while it has a relatively decent payout, it makes me pull my hair out. And this is also, I believe, one of those games that you can pay. Some of the games you have to pay to achieve a certain level. That was maybe a poor example. I thought it had a bigger payout than it did. Let me find one that I completed. Sorry. I'm just scrolling through just to find a good example. Let's go down to the bottom. See, these are the completed ones. And my list is not even accurate because one of the other things I wish they would let you do is remove games. Because like Merge Dragons, I have completed Merge Dragons. This is an example of a very well-paying game. But this is also a game that I downloaded probably 8 or 9 months ago. There was no timing on it, right? And it took me a while, and it took a comment on Reddit just to be able to figure out how to level up in the game. But you can see that the payouts were very nice. But to work my way through it, it took months and months to work my way through it. And I did complete it, but because it didn't register correctly, I had to put in a ticket and claim my Atlas bucks. And they paid me within a couple business days. But there's no way to remove that from my thing. So I think without beating that horse any further, it all just comes down to marketing. And unfortunately, since I'm not on the team or anything, I don't have more exacting information. Manning has said that they target, it's targeted marketing, right? So I assume there's many different variables there. What I do is I look at the games, and first of all, I usually don't download unless there's a arcade special going. In other words, more, you know, an additional times multiplier on what you're earning. And I don't really download a game on a daily basis because, once again, back to my topic of there's only a certain amount of games, and you know they change on a monthly basis because it's a marketing program, right? These games are paying to market their game on third-party websites, just like this. So they may pay 1 month, and you might see the game up there for a couple weeks, and they pay X amount. So then a certain amount is handed out in Atlas bucks, depending upon where you are. As far as you know, some areas of the world get better marketing rates, etc. You know, and I've also seen differences between iOS and Android. So there's a lot of variables, and I think they're purposefully not trying to be pinned down. A lot of this stuff Manning will not give out any specifics, and I see his point, right? I see why they wouldn't want to give out company specifics, right? So, well, all I can say is look at the games, look at the payouts, and try to pick the ones that are worth your time to you. And at this point, I'm downloading games that I can stand because some of them I just can't stand. Working my way through Coin Master there towards the end just was making me pull my hair out. Dice Dreams, that took a long time. Had a good payout at the end. It took a long time. I like Domino Dreams. I didn't mind playing that game, but Dice Dreams just really got to me. There are some games that I really enjoy. Let me see if I can give you an example here. I know I'm getting off on the arcade tangent here. I need to do my 20-minute ad. Let's pull this over here. So, like I said, I'm working my way through Castle Duels lately, the last couple weeks. The Merge Studio, it's okay, but once again, I'm really at my limit for merge games. I like puzzle games, so Playdoku is okay, but it's one of those things that will take forever. The Idle Miner, you know, it's a miner game. I'm enjoying the Warhammer 40K. If you like Warhammer type games, it's a different type of strategy game. It's one of those ones that is a higher quality game, if you will. It's based on Warhammer. I worked my way through the Marvel Strike Force. I love that. Of course, if you like Marvel games, Marvel Heroes, you'd like that. Another match game that if I don't have much progress in it, it's one of those things that you can download a game and it has a really good payout at the end, but then it's going to take you forever to get there, you know, that kind of game. Rush Royale, Tower Defense was pretty fun. I'm pretty much over match triple game because triple goods because I've found that it's almost impossible for me. Township is another one of those farming games. If you like the farming games, that'll be okay. Monopoly Solitaire is another one of those ones that I worked through, but it failed out and didn't give me the AB properly. Had to put in a ticket. Once again, support gave me my Atlas bucks, but I can't remove it from my list. Harry Potter's just sitting there, meh. Yahtzee, that's one of those games that I had played in the past on my phone, and then I downloaded it again, and it never gave me credit, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to play it again. So anyway, you get the point. We can talk about more about arcade games if you want, but, and I'm getting an error. Okay. I take my phone off screen because I never know if it's going to show something I don't want shown. Okay, let's jump back into chat while that is reloading. Yes, welcome Video Game Collector. Robert says, so with Atlas Arcade, why have the rewards so low? We just went over there. The boy is here. Welcome. Says, hi, Bronze. Do you know when real bank cash out will come to the UK? I don't know, to tell you the truth. Do you not have that ability in the UK? I'm guessing, since you just asked. We have that. Let me pull it up. See if I can show that. I don't know if that screen has any personal information on it or not. I'm trying to relaunch Atlas Earth. The problem I've had with Atlas Earth since they went live with that change last month with how you log in, and it forces the login much more. Here on my home network, I have to relaunch the application like 4 or 5 times before it will actually launch. So I'm going to go in and check out. So do you not have ACH payout available when you do... I'm doing my ad. I'm not showing it to you because I'm sure you guys see these ads enough. So the ACH is the bank payout. So I'm assuming you don't have that available. I don't have an answer for that. Ashley Stanfield's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Says, I appreciate you making sure that your content is accurate. Well, I would feel bad. I don't purposefully. I try not to put out any inaccurate. Of course, we are all human, and some of it can be attributed to that. But I know that a lot of people will look at these videos, and one of the points is to try to look at what everybody else is doing and see if there's a better way you can play, right? Come up with a slightly different strategy, maybe improve the way you're playing. So especially anything involving numbers, which I try to mostly stay away from unless they're hard facts, right? Like, I'm going to do this video this week, and I'll say, hey, in 1 year, I made this much, you know? So I try to be accurate. And when I find an error, luckily, it doesn't happen a lot, knock on wood, knocking on my desk. When I find an error that I think makes the whole video bad, I just pull down the video. And sometimes I redo it, and sometimes I just tell people why I pulled it down. Because I don't want the video existing and perpetuating bad information. Of course, in a game like this, things change over time, so I do leave older videos up. So if you're watching a really old video, you know, I started making these videos a year ago, you know, a lot of that you can look at and you can say, well, that's where he was at the time, right? But things have, a lot of things have changed since then. Okay, we are back on the home screen. Took a while. Just leaving that up there so you can see where I'm at. My averages are pretty much right on average with what you would expect the drop rates for at this point. Brandon says, get yourself a bottle of whiskey. You deserve it. Well, I like bourbons. and Tennessee whiskey. But I will say that I have not drank. I like good beers too. I'm a home brewer. Haven't brewed in a while, but I do love the whole process. But with that said, I haven't drank in any alcohol in more than a month. More of a kind of a trying to get myself a little bit healthier kind of idea, you know. So, but I do like a good glass of bourbon. I will admit that. Lady Sharon says, did my little adventure last week. At first, I pulled off in the wrong area. Oh, when we were talking about the week before. At first, I pulled off in the wrong area and was confused that the game didn't have the expected city on the map, but I did find it and dropped 20 parcels. And you got your mayorship. Good. Nice. Let me know if you make anything off that. On that topic, I've secured my first 2 mayorships. So my first mayorship, I have 600 parcels in. My second mayorship, which I've been working on over the last couple months, I brought up to 400 parcels, and I feel pretty good about it. So going into next month, I'm going to start working on a third. I haven't picked it out, but I need to get on that and look at it. Pilak is here. Welcome. Says, bro, just curious, what's the Web3 project that almost got rug pulled? Well, I'm not going to name it, and I'm not going to name it. I am going to do a video on it, just for everybody else's kind of information, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but yesterday in yesterday's live stream, which is dedicated more towards Web3 and Splinterlands and stuff, I compared how Splinterlands is set up with a DAO, which is a organization that controls basically all the cryptocurrency that is completely separate from the company that makes the game. So there's a separate divide there for business purposes, and also protecting both businesses and the money involved, the cryptocurrency. So a rug pull can't occur, which we've all heard of rug pull, like the Haktua girl with her coin, and many other examples of that. There was a game that I was going to get in and cover with the guy over on Beer Money Engine, the presenter over there, and we were talking about it. And I had looked at. He's like, "Well, would you like to do an episode on this?" I'm like, "Well, give me the name of the game, and I'll take a look at it." I did, and within about an hour, I was looking at it. I'm like, "Yeah, there's too many red flags. I'm not going to play this game and do anything on it." And then after a couple weeks, more information came in, and the person that was in charge of the game, created the game, almost was aiming for a rug pull, stealing a lot of money from people, basically, right? And a portion of the people involved, which were like developers and stuff like that, was able to wrest the game away from them. And I'm not going to go into any details, but that is kind of one of those ideas and one of the problems that you can run into if you invest in a game in Web3 and it's not set up logically to protect everybody. So I'm not going to mention any names. Even when I do the video on this topic, I'm not going to mention any names because there's too much legality here. I don't want to get sued, right? I'm just talking in broader terms about games that are set up well, which I believe that Splinterlands is. So, but we are talking about a different game today, but that goes out to you. Lady Sharon says, the mayorship of the little square. I'm the only one who bought a badge there so far. Next plan is to build up in an area where the top is a little over 100. Nice. I want to drop 15 there today or tomorrow. I'm just hoping I've unlocked enough challenges that parcel 4 is right behind parcel 3. Yeah, that'd be nice. That happened with me. I ended up waiting for by parcel 3 level and then doing a bunch of quests. So hopefully, they unlock back to back, because the whole point is that we have to travel to go to buy these parcels, right? Then you don't want to go back 4 different times, right? You kind of want to do 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 would be nice, right? So this thing keeps coming up. Cerezi says, I went to a casino last night and had a great turnout. I used some of my winnings to buy the Atlas Explorer Club for the first time. Nice. Keep us up to date. Let us know how that goes. Everybody, I think most people who buy the Explorer Club, and I've looked at it before, it's a good use of money if you are going to put money into the game to buy Atlas Buck. It's much more efficient than just outright buying Atlas Bucks. I still think that subscribing to the challenge ladder has a higher Atlas Buck to regular buck conversion as far as the value, as far as what you get out of it, but they're both good uses. I still don't do the Explorer Club. I don't come out of pocket for $50 a month, but I can see where it would be worth it. I do subscribe to the challenge ladder though, and that money comes out of what I make in rent. So. And before I get asked, no, it doesn't come directly out. I transfer my rent to PayPal, and then I pay out of my PayPal savings $10 to my regular savings account, and then I charge it, because they ask for a charge card. I decided to follow through tier jumping strategy rather than stay on max tier 1. Okay, this is iSnyder TV. Did I get that right this time? Is the person that had commented, which I did the video off of, about taking the whole first tier and advancing to max level. So they decided to go ahead and do tier jumping rather than doing all the legendary parcels. Yeah, quite welcome. I thought that was pretty interesting. I always like interesting ideas to look into. Ashley says, I feel the same way about Warship. I currently have 150 parcels and 31 badges. I'm saving for the next tier jump now. Nice, 220. Well, you don't have to go all the way to 220 if you don't want to. You could go to your break even, which is probably 210 or something about there, and then work up from there. Brandon said, I used to buy spot at a time till I decided to tier jump. I know that I previously asked if you drink Monster, but do you think you'll try Monster Zero with no sugar? I probably have in the past, but I don't drink it. Like I've said, and this isn't an advertisement, I just like them. I drink the sparkling ice both with caffeine and without caffeine, just because I like them. Something I just haven't. There was one Monster I think I liked in the past. I don't know if they're making it now. It was zero sugar and it kind of tasted like a coffee and chocolate mix. I forget. Maybe it was a different brand. But I haven't drank that in a while. I'm trying to be very conscious about what I'm putting into my body. Lee says, my question was basically, we are supposed to get auctions this year. With that said, will it just be for landmarks, or will we finally get to auction our commons and finally get rid of them? The way I understand, Annalise says we don't know yet. Right now I have only heard about landmarks. The way I took it was, we will have landmarks, and when landmarks go live, the auction will be the first, the landmark debut will be the first use of auctions, and then going forward, they'll be used for other things, okay? So, as of, just like Annalise said, we haven't heard yet as far as what going forward from the auctions of the landmarks it will entail. Brandon says, do you know that magic number to avoid paying taxes on Atlas Earth? I do not. I am not a tax guru or tax man. Annalise, was it $600? I don't know. My good saying is, there's a certain level. what I want to say is there's a certain level. Once you hit it, then the company has to issue you a tax form, and then you have to claim it. So, I don't know any other details. And like I said, to do your own homework. Anything that involves claiming taxes, I say claim all your income so that they can't come back and audit you. Cerezy says, I have that Castle Duels game in my list, but I haven't tried it yet. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's one of those ones, get new units, level them up, play PvP against people, and it's automated type game, and then there's a certain amount of combining units to level them up during the game. So sometimes you get some good deals as far as the random units that are popping up, and you can level up units quickly and mow through them. But it's been pretty fun. But I can see it taking quite a while to get into the end. Brandon says, do you think we'll get to be able to sync the events to Apple Calendar and Google Calendar in a future update? I don't know. That would be nice, but I do not know. I have not heard that brought up. I do try to check Discord. I don't hang out there as much as Annalise does because she's a mod over there. And I try to check Discord, and I try to check Reddit on a daily basis, although I don't have enough time to hang out there much for, the conversation that's going on, and see mainly a lot if Manning had posted any alerts or news items. So the last couple patches that have went into the game over the last couple of weeks seem to really not be affecting anything on our side as updates to the game. They're mostly backside, fixing problems in the game and stuff like that. Maybe getting ready for some of the new stuff. Annalise goes on to say, in the U.S., you are supposed to report all income, but Atlas Earth will not send you anything about taxes unless you cash out $600. Okay. Yeah, I agree with her. You're supposed to report all your earnings. Depending upon how you claim taxes, that may or may not affect your taxes. So, Yazin's in the house, or Yazin, however you say that. Hello, I got 6 parcels. Shall I buy more land or go to the passport? Well, depending upon where you're at, most people, 40 parcels is that magic number that you get to before you worry about buying a badge. So I would advise to go ahead and check. I have a link. Check out my channel. I have some different. Let me get my. Let's just go back to this other page. What I wanted to say is I have a link on most of my Atlas Earth videos in the show notes to Tasty Wallet's guide. Okay. And I haven't redone the guide because I haven't found the need to, because he did a great job on the guide, and he updates it, and he provides on that page advice on how to approach it. I think in almost every situation, he advises to make it to 40 parcels and then buy your first badge, because that's the way the math works out. And I think that's across the board, no matter where you're at. So. Brandon said, is there a way to turn on or off the white border line of the edge of the parcels? I don't think so. Sherry says, match triple goods gets so tough. Yeah, I mean, I'm a few levels in, and I'm like, I can't do this. It's an interesting game, though. It's an interesting take on the whole match thing, because you have a certain amount of shelves, and you have all these tons of different items, and you have to match 3 at a time, but you only have a certain amount of free spaces. So you have to take things off the shelf, put things back on different shelves, and line them up to do your matches. And after about 4 or 5 levels, I'm like, I about just gave up. Palmer Husky says, in the arcade, I'm working on Goblin's Wood Lumber Tycoon. I have not seen that, I don't think, which pays out a total of 286. Wizard of Oz slots, I've seen that, with a total of 854. And Balloon Master, I liked Balloon Master with 145. I found Balloon Master pretty fun. And once again, all these totals are different for everybody. you could have two different people standing in the same room, and most likely each person would pull up a game and have different numbers on it. So, and when asked about this, Manning's probably tired of talking about it, but it's all to marketing, right? Everybody has pushed different games. Everybody's targeted. You have a different demographic. You're male, female, different race, different country, iOS, Android. It's all different. So everybody's going to draw. And I started talking about these games when I first started doing videos on this early on. And then I started noticing, well, hey, I didn't get that. I've got everybody was pointing out that everybody has got different payouts. So it's all marketing. That's all I can say. Brandon asks, are you familiar with the new Atlas Earth Calculator app? Yeah, I've seen you talking about it, and I've seen you posting about it on Reddit. I haven't used it, though. I haven't really found a use for it. Yeah. Cat's World 1987 says this game sucks. Which game? Are you talking about Atlas Earth? I would disagree with you. Pillax says, still waiting for Atlas Earth to open in the Philippines. From what I'm seeing, is it similar to Upland? It is better than Upland. I was having a brief discussion. I was on Beer Money Engine's live stream yesterday or the day before, and somebody brought that up. And I haven't played Upland, but Upland is one of those games that he has, Farrell Silver. I had to take a minute and remember his name. And he's played it over time, and it's one of those games that has slowly been nerfed into what his opinion was. It's very hard to make any money off of it these days. So from that aspect, buying land, selling land, yes, it's similar. But I would say, and he agrees, because he does different ratings on the games on a usual basis and on a monthly and yearly basis, that at this point, I would say that Atlas Earth is a better game. And Philippines is on the list, so hopefully it'll be going live soon where you are. And when it does, if you want to start playing, use my link in the show notes to get 200 free Atlas bucks. Brandon says, I enjoy watching you on my Apple TV. Oh, wow. I can imagine my face on the big screen. That's scary. Palmer Husky says, so for you, Dice Streams was do Dice... I guess it comes down to everybody's different, right? But I found the first few levels of Dice Streams not too bad, but it took me months and months to work through that. And by the time I got done with it, I was ready to be done with it. Let's just say that. Now, Domino Dreams, I had fun with. There's a little bit more strategy involved there, and it didn't take me. It seemed like Domino Dreams. I went into Domino Dreams and I was expecting it to be much longer because of my experience with Dice Streams, but it seemed like I completed Domino Dreams much quicker. Annalise points out that no, ACH is only in the U.S. Okay, so that's good to know. As far as the banking stuff, I can't give you any answers. And that's one of the problems behind bringing the AMP program around the world from the United States. It's all banking. Every country has different banking and credit card regulations, so you're going to have different options. So I'm sorry you can't go straight to a bank. Like I said, I go to PayPal and PayPal Savings, but then once again, some places don't have PayPal Savings. It's all banking regulations, and depending upon the country you live in, credit card regulations. So that's also what's behind the AMP program not being available. So they have to play by the rules, whatever country you're in. There's a lot of countries, especially in Europe, UK and the rest of Europe, have very strict regulations compared to the United States. And I would probably lean on the side of the fence that that's probably better, but there's an offshoot. It's a double-edged sword, right? So you're protected more, and your personal information is protected more, but you make less out of the game, that kind of thing. Brandon asks, when is your next meeting with Beer Money Engine? I don't know. He's setting something up. We have a topic going for this week, maybe next week sometime. But we're going to talk about a few things, and I might do a show over on his channel. On my channel, I've never really had like an interview type show or anything. I do kind of know how to do it, but I'm not 100% on it. So I usually just either do a live stream with myself and read what people are saying, or just kind of, record and present that way. But he's a good guy, and he's more on the play to earn side, where my first real experience with play to earn, as far as like this type of app, is actually Atlas Earth. Most of my rest of experience for the last several years has been on the Web3 side. So they kind of join there at a certain point, and it's just been interesting, discussing the topics with them. So. Ashley says, I never got my last payout for June's journey. I contacted support and they gave them the screenshots, and they responded saying they couldn't find the game, so I missed out on the final reward. Oh, that sucks. That's terrible. You would think that they could look back, they would know exactly what games were in the pipeline for last month or whatever. I find that hard to believe that they couldn't reference the list of games that were being advertised over the last several months. Yazin says, RC Scoop with the super chat. Thank you very much. Did you have a question or something you wanted to discuss in chat? We can go over. Just let me know. Just going through chat, see what everybody's saying. Annalise says that, Yazin, if badges are easy to get for you, I would get one at 40 parcels. Yeah, what we talked about earlier. Brandon says two thumbs up on the bourbon. Maybe I should do a show on bourbon. I don't know. There's plenty of people that do that. Yazin says, so will you say buy first at 40 parcels? Yeah, that's what I talked about. Atlas Bucks XX says, what is Splinterlands? It is a collectible tradable card game, which is on the Hive blockchain. We're going into our 7th year. So if you like collectible card games, you may like it. Check it out. Once again, I have check out some of my Splinterlands videos. You can see a link to start playing in the show notes. We're going into our 6th major set of cards over the last 7 years. Soon. The pre-sale comes up next week starting. Yazin says, I can't buy Explorer Club because I don't have a credit card. I'm living in the Netherlands. You may explore using PayPal, and PayPal has various like Visa cards. You can dump the rent you earn in-game to PayPal, buy a Visa card or MasterCard, and then use that. That's just one thing I heard people talking about. And Netherlands just went live. So it just started. A good time to get in because probably not a whole lot of people around you buying at this point, but it should be catching on. Palmer Husky says, I do both the Explorer Club and the Challenge Ladder. Between those arcade surveys when I'm bored, and every 20 minutes, 2 free Atlas Bucks. Speaking of that, I need to do my ad. Sorry. I get talking and then I've played this Starfleet Command. It's pretty fun. And you know what else I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about doing a review of that that walking app, Weward. Let me know in chat if you think I should do a review of it. I do a lot of walking. I get up and work out in the morning, so I was thinking about doing that. Sir, back to Palmer's comment. I do both the Explorer Club and the Challenge Ladder. Between those arcade surveys, between those arcade and surveys, when I'm bored and every 20-minute, 2-minute free Atlas buck, I'm really making out like a bandit. 1,587 parcels and counting. Nice. Once again, thanks to RC Scoop for the super chat. Lady Sugar Bombs in the house, welcome. Asks, when are they going to do the landmark thing? I don't know. Annalise, the last I heard was this year sometime. Annalise says they are planning to launch it before the end of the year. Yeah. Lady Sharon says, don't know if you'll get to this, but I did see you liked one of my posts on Discord the other day. Yeah, yeah, I pop on there and I saw what you were talking about. I try to leave a like whenever I like what people are talking about. I don't hang out there all day long because I'm doing all kinds of other things. So Lee says, just wish there was a way to get rid of commons because no one is going to pay the required minimum of 150. Well, you know, it's all statistical based, you know. So once you get above about 100 parcels, you're going to find that round about 50 to 55% of your parcels are going to be commons. And if they're not, if you are over, if your percentages are out of whack, in other words, you have a huge amount of legendaries or epics, it's going to be a call out that maybe you're manipulating the game in a way you shouldn't be and therefore against the terms of service. Of course, there's always the possibility that you could be using your LPUs, or you could be buying a bunch of those, or you could be using the LPUs you earn on the monthly challenge. But those aren't going to push your percentages so far out of whack, and they're going to be able to look on the back end to see what you're doing. But I do see a lot of people, especially in the Reddits, pointing out people that seem to be cheating. And Manning continues to say that they're taking action on these. So don't manipulate. Lee says, just wish there... just said that. Lady Sharon says, on the whole triple goods, I just hate that it now does several ads in the game, like it interrupts. Also, I take a screenshot, pause the game, and study the screenshot. I do. Hey, that's an interesting idea. Lee says, or maybe have a sellback feature to Atlas. I'll be willing to get rid of mine for 33 each. Yeah, but that's a whole... They designed the game to have a certain amount of commons, right? In each drop. It's just like opening card packs. I play card games, you know, collectible card games. You have a very high percentage chance of getting a common, right? So hitting one of those other ones is really nice, and they've designed the whole game about certain drop percentages, and yeah, I don't see that happening, you know. So you just take your parcels, and whenever you get a few legendaries, enjoy it. Lady Sharon says, Match Factory 2. I really honestly like Match Factory, though. So, you know, everybody's different. Everybody likes different types of games. Yazin says, in the Netherlands, we got less opportunities to earn Atlas bucks. Is that right? Well, I think you can generally say that since most of the countries outside the United States do not have the AMP program, then yes, the countries outside the United States do. But like I said, this all comes down to, I think, two main headings, advertising rates and banking regulations. I think a lot of that stuff falls under that, because a lot of this stuff, especially the AMP program, since the company makes money off of it, they would have it live if they could. That's just my feelings. Okay, I'm not on the team. I don't even talk to them very much. But that's from an advertising and a company that makes money off advertising. Why wouldn't you want to have it live in as many countries as possible? Well, what usually is the answer is regulations, right? So, but with that said, they have said that they are working on it. So we'll see. RC Scoop says, I just bought my parcel number 134 today. I love the game. Nice. Glad you're having fun. I've been playing, like I said, almost a year now, year on Tuesday, in fact, and I'm still having fun with it. In fact, it is probably the game I most interface with. And across my channel, I cover a number of games, especially play on a daily basis, but I probably play Atlas Earth the most out of any of them. If you count, interacting with the 20-minute ad and doing the boosts and, buying parcels and playing the challenge ladder on a monthly basis and doing surveys once in a while, things like that, I probably interact with this game more than any other. Honest John says, I see Shaman 15 is buying a lot of parcels currently. I have not looked at, let's see, what action. It doesn't surprise me. I'm pulling up the leaderboard. Okay, everybody can pull up their leaderboard. Wow, 117,000, just to give you an idea of how much this leaderboard has moved. I did a video like a month or two after I started this channel, or started covering Atlas Earth last year, and that would have been, I don't know, in the July timeframe, somewhere like that, and we were talking about the 40,000 mark. And since then, the competition has just really expanded, and a lot of people like to talk about it and everything. It's just like these people at the top end, especially the King of Queens and Count Maximus and Shaman 15. Stealth G was the head for quite a while, but they've kind of laid off. So much money put into the game, but also as you get to be governor and president and mayor of multiple locations, there's this, what do I want to say? The incoming Atlas bucks just is like a snowball rolling down a hill, right? So a lot of this stuff is probably just incoming Atlas bucks. They still have to travel, find places to actually put the parcels and everything like that. And that's bypassing. A lot of people might say, oh, somebody's cheating, but I'm not even going to broach that. Hopefully the team has talked about taking measures to prevent cheating, and they've put multiple systems into place to keep track of that. So, but with that said, I mean, it wasn't too long ago where he crossed 100,000, right? So, Robert Nunya is in the house. Welcome, Robert. Thanks for dropping by. He says, hello, I have a friend in Poland and was wondering if Poland was on the list of countries being added. I always look to Annalise for that. I have the list somewhere, but I can't pull it up. Annalise says, you are looking at 5+ months for Poland. Date not guaranteed, as it will depend upon various factors. Yes, so I think I remember it being on the list, but it's one of those ones that's a little bit further out. And yes, I am going late because I made a big mistake for the first half hour of the podcast or / video, and I wasn't live for the first half hour, so that's why we're going late. And oh, by the way, in the chat, leave if you think of something else I could do during this podcast to make it more interesting or something or other, let me know, like something to do every week. Or if you're watching this and it's not live, it's just secondhand, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comment section. If there's something you'd like to see in this show on a weekly basis, we can start adding it to it. I'm always trying to improve, things I'm doing. Mystery Pony Fiction is here. Welcome. Says, I've been thinking about starting my own streams too. I'm worried about screwing up too. Well, what I found is that just roll with it. You just got to roll with it. We're all human. In fact, a lot of the big streamers I watch once in a while, they make mistakes all the time, and they just roll with it. So I look forward to this timing during the week for my live streams on the weekend. I can't do them during the week because I work, average day, just to talk about the different games we like to talk about. So Atlas Bucks XX says Poland will be added after Sweden and Norway. Brandon says, can you explain Web3, please? Well, there's a lot of intricacies, but basically speaking, Web3, when a game is referred to as Web3, it's the combination of a standard game with crypto, not technology, but crypto, weaving in the making of a cryptocurrency into a game. If you say Web 2, it's a standard game or mobile. Whereas if you refer to something generally, and yes, I know there's a lot of intricacies surrounding that, but generally it means it's got crypto in it. James F. is here. Welcome. Says, my challenge ladder is full of completing the mini games. Yeah, I know what you mean. And that comes down to especially people who are playing free to play. You can still complete the ladder. You just have to play a lot of mini games. Robert Nunya says, also, my friend the invite button has disappeared and was wondering. Yeah, they took it out. The statement that I heard was they're working on it. Something was wrong with it. I don't have anything further on that. I think they intend on putting it back in. And he had made the statement that if you have an older code, it still works. And I can attest to this because the code that I use in my show notes of all my videos has been the same since they changed it. Previously, the referral code was only good for 15. Once 15 people had signed up with it, then it was no longer good. It didn't do any good, right? Then you had to generate a new one. And then at a certain point, a few months ago, they said, okay, you can just use the same code. It's good for unlimited. I just started using the same code across all my videos, and it is still working because one of the ways I make Atlas bucks is people use my referral code. You get 200 free Atlas bucks on it on your side, but I also get a little bit of a stream, a few. They stream in once in a while. So. Brandon says, do you play 8-Ball Strike? I have not played that one. Annalise, I already talked about that. Lady Sharon says, oh, I'd love to see a review of that app. It dawned on me that they probably are another share ad revenue. Yeah, it's from the basics. I got forced a lot of that ad over the last couple weeks. It's the WeWord app. It's basically walk. It keeps track of your pedometer, what you're walking, and then gives you some credit for it in some way. You make a little bit of money off of it. So after I saw the ad 150 times, I guess I got it was with the tennis, one of the famous tennis playing sisters. Brandon says, when's the gas stations and grocery stores coming in AMP? I don't know. Once again, that's one of those things that's coming soon. Lady Sharon says, I don't want to watch ads in AE and there. Yeah, I think it's more about walking. But once again, I haven't even downloaded it yet. It's more about walking and syncing with your pedometer, whether you have I'm thinking about getting an Apple Watch, but I've had one of these. Fitbit for quite a long time, but it's getting to the end of its lifespan. So anyway, it keeps track of your how many. It's to get you out and walking. It's to make a little bit of money off of walking, basically. And I laugh at some of these ads that they do, the cheesy ones that you walk the guy walks up to the girl walking along. Hey, do you know that you've got this? You can make money off of walking. It's like cheesy ads. Palmer Husky says, I'd like to know that too. Unfortunately, there's been radio silence on it since it was announced. And I work at a gas station, so it would be nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll talk about it whenever I hear more details, but so far none. Ashley says, I'm currently trying out 3 different walking apps, WeWord, Cashwalk, and GeoSmile. The last one pays for both driving and walking. I haven't been able to cash out yet. Well, Ashley, let us know how it goes and what you find after you played it for a little while. Brandon says, do you think you'll get your Bronze Dragon logo as a tattoo? No, I've got several tattoos. I have not gotten a tattoo since my mom died, which would have been 2002. And I got a tattoo to kind of memorialize her death, but not to bring the chat down, but that's last tattoo I've gotten. But I was in the Navy, so you can imagine I have a few tattoos. Joseph Ivansky's in the house. Welcome. Says, I'm so close to the 2X tier. Finally, I can make the same amount of money as you Americans. Yeah, I imagine it's a rough slog, but it's better than not having the game, right? Lee says, any word on the store and fuel? They just talked about that. No. Other than it's in the works, I don't know. Okay, well, we're a little bit over. Yeah, if you didn't catch, I made a big foul up at the beginning of the show. That's why we ran to 1:30, or we're over a little bit 1:30. As always, I appreciate everybody dropping by and lending their thoughts to their, on what you've been doing in Atlas Earth. I always look forward to this time chatting with you. So once again, thanks for dropping by, and sorry for the big mistake at the beginning of the show. So with that said, I hope you have a great week, and, stay boosted and buy some more parcels. Other than that, hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And this has been Bronze Dragon, and I will see you in Atlas Earth.